Hi Scorpio, hope you guys are doing great today. Welcome back. Welcome to those of you who are new. My name's Jackie. These are weekly readings for all the astrological archetypes. Remember guys, these are general messages. Take what resonates, throw out the rest. I mix tarot and astrology with numerology. And let's see what we have going on for the first week of August. So, out of the month, this is probably, because there's this sort of shift happening, there needs to be a lot of problem-solving energy with Venus and Mars hanging out in Virgo. It's in your 11th house, by the way. So we're going to talk about what that means. There are like gifts to this week, and there are some challenges. So we're going to talk about everything as we go. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. But sort of setting up the energy that we're moving into for the rest of August and then going into September, which, thank you, is getting better. Thank you. All right, so we have the King of Wands, Temperance, okay. All right, so let's see what we have going on here. Starting out with the King of Wands. King of Wands is really wanting to be a free spirit. A lot of you, this is Cancer and Leo energy, really wanting to be a free spirit as an influence. This is a really good time to express your ideas and going after exactly what it is that you want in whatever area you might be resonating with this in. So that relationship, that job situation, whatever it is, but you don't want to allow the idea of something needing to be perfect to get in the way of you taking something on. You don't have to be perfect. The person or the situation doesn't have to be perfect, right? As I know you really, this is kind of like the King of Wands is very, while it is like a get me out of here energy, I want to bust out. It's because Wands are will, passion, motivation. It's also this recognition of the need to feel safe in something, right? And really looking at the ability for you to feel safe and secure. And the fact that right now you have Saturn and Jupiter retrograde in Aquarius in your 4th house of home, roots, family, your emotions, your foundation, how you take care of yourself, all of that grounded, rooted stuff, you feeling safe and secure. Saturn is really making you look at stuff, really challenging this ability for you to feel very grounded and rooted in something, even though Jupiter's hanging out in there. Jupiter's retrograde, so it's kind of like trying to soften Saturn up, but there's so much problem-solving energy. And this is sitting across the wheel from the Mercury and the Sun. Lots of focus here having to do with your career, your long-term goals, your public reputation, your standing in the world, and it's hanging out in Leo. Leo's a very like, look at me energy. So I definitely feel you're going to have a lot of pepper in your step to like really want to put yourself out there. But again, don't allow that idea of something needing to be perfect, whatever that even means, to get in your way. A lot of times we look for things to be perfect when we're really like low-key and maybe not so low-key scared, right? So you want to just be careful of that. So we have that idea, everything I'm mentioning, but the need to temper that, right? Because the temperance is all about balance, right? And it's really looking, because in numerology, this is the Hierophant energy. So in Hierophant is about expectations and the needing to conform to something. Yes, it's a marriage card as well, but it's about any sort of the idea of committing in a way where there's emotional maturity exercise, where there's a very clear understanding of expectations and the need to conform to something. So there needs to be some sort of like cooperation, moderation. For some of you, it's going to be reconciliation. For others of you, it's going to be reconciling some sort of situation. Whatever it is, it's going to bring healing. And if it has to do with any kind of relationship, whether it's intimate, friendship, family, it doesn't really matter. It does seem like some sort of new kind of trust and patient cooperation is going to be had after a pretty difficult time period for you. Now, if this has to do with career or money, you might be dealing with challenging personalities at work where they're either pretty aggressive or way too sensitive, in your opinion, But either way, patience and cooperation and empathy is going to go a long way. So make sure you're paying attention to your money here. That's just something that I want you to pay attention to going into August. Because you do have the South Node in Sagittarius in that 2nd house of money, work, income, what matters to you, your material possessions, your priorities, your work ethics, your habits, your daily routine. So South Node means that something is needing to be released from that area. So some of you may be needing to pay like a big bill or some sort of challenge coming up with money, or you releasing any kind of bad habits that you have around money, anything like that. But it's the North Node in Gemini in the 8th house. That's where the gift is coming in. So you might also be getting money in from other people, right? Because it has to do with loans, inheritances, shared finances, your partner's resources. But with this second 8th house, don't be surprised if like you get an unexpected bill or something goes on with your finances. With the North Node in Gemini, it does seem like there's going to be some sort of gift coming in as a result of this tempering. So figuring something out as far as your finances go, right? Definitely figuring something out. Now and then here we have the Strength energy, which is all about balance, right? And this is about figuring something out in a very creative way, let's just say, which is going to be happening anyway, because you have Mercury and the Sun hanging out with Leo, right? And this is the Leo energy. So those of you resonating with this as relationship, if you feel like your relationship's been tested, things can get better, but there's a need for balance. There's got to be some balance. Somebody might need their ego stroked. There needs to be some sort of like, what's going on here really? And just having the right conversations. You know what I mean? Like we can have a lot of conversation with people and talk a lot about nothing. You know what I mean? Like nothing that really, skirting the issue, not talking about the elephant in the room, that kind of thing. So having the important conversations is super, super important to actually look at right now. And you want to feel like you have to be honest in this energy as well, because you have Cancer sitting in your 9th house of negotiating right now. And Cancer's very focused on feeling safe and secure, but really doesn't want, it doesn't take a whole lot to scare wherever our Cancer energy is away. It really doesn't. It doesn't take a whole lot to scare us, and that's in that part of our life. So that 9th house has to do with negotiating, the court system. It has to do with a higher education, your personal philosophy, your moral code, your moral compass. You might be in a space right now, Scorpio, where you're reflecting on a lot of things that have gone on in your life, whether it's family, relationship, work, and you're feeling very disappointed. And some of you may even be feeling, dare I say, like a crisis of faith and very emotionally vulnerable in any of these areas. Being able to negotiate some sort of lawsuit, negotiate some sort of anything even having to do with maybe in-laws, because your in-laws hang out in the 9th house as well. So there's this crisis of faith, though, that you may be feeling. So just understand that right now. It's not going to last, but right now that's what's hanging out in there. Clarifying that, we have the Page of Wands. So the Page of Wands, personification of fire. So this can be good news about something coming in that requires negotiation. So this could be some sort of situation going on within work, within a relationship, whatever it is. A very busy energy, and it brings in an offer, a new offer. And the thing is, the status or the structure or the offer of whatever is being offered might not be as high, as much, or in the way that you'd like or expect. It's still going to appeal to you in theory. So if this has to do with any kind of like offer on maybe a house or financing of a project or some sort of settlement, just make sure you read the fine print before signing or agreeing to anything. This could even have to do with a relationship, though, where somebody could be coming in and saying, all right, I want to talk about this. Let's balance the situation. We have Temperance and the Strength energy. So it's definitely a week of needing to temper something. So some sort of idea can be presented to you, right, in the Page of Wands energy. Some sort of new idea. And you're like, all right, well, that really wasn't what I was looking for, but okay, that kind of thing. Just make sure you don't overpromise yourself in this energy. You really want to be careful of not doing that. It's a very interesting energy, I think, with Venus this month. And let me explain what I mean. Venus is really great, right? Venus indicates an area through which we can naturally attain peace, right? And balance and well-being and satisfaction and love and be loved and all that beautiful stuff, right? So Venus rules love, it rules money, it rules our self-esteem, all these great things. And it's a very balancing energy. And when it's hanging out with Mars, these two are so good together because they really complement each other. Mars pushes Venus to do things that maybe she wouldn't normally do. And Venus calms Mars down a little bit. But in critical Virgo, there's going to be a lot of analysis going on for you guys in your 11th house of your groups, your friends, your hopes, your wishes, and your future. So it's a big house, right? The 11th house is a big house. So you have these two energies together. I want to explain how it could be good for you. How it could be good for you is that something new could be coming in that's sort of being tempered and figured out and problem solved to bring you into a space moving into the future that you are going to feel really happy about. And dare I say, with Neptune and Pisces sitting across the wheel, it could bring in a beautiful new relationship. It could bring in a new creative project. It could bring in, oh my gosh, it could even bring in a pregnancy, for goodness sake, sure, right? Anything like that. Very nice energy, right? So that's in the illuminated manifestation. Something really nice going on in that axis. But we have to look at the shadow manifestation, because that could be going on actually parallel to those positive energies. So what does that even mean? Right, the less pleasant Venusian qualities. Number one, Venus has a very hard time dealing with people who don't measure up to her ideal. And you have this in your 11th house. So you're going to be very critical of your friends. You're going to be very critical of what you're doing in your life to bring yourself into your future. This is your 5-year plan, your 10-year plan, right? And when Venus is in there, it's like this expectation for perfection and harmony are so high that you can end up suffering from some sort of disappointment or disillusionment when life fails to meet her ideals, meaning Venus's, right? So it's that very dissatisfaction, though, that can motivate, especially with Mars in there, for push you to do something that's going to ultimately make your life more fair and balanced and more beautiful. So, but in order to do that, you're going to have to really actively make some change. This is not something that's just going to come to you. So I want you to understand that, because a lot of people have the wrong idea of Venus, where it's like, I'm just going to sit here and have people feed me grapes and bring me things. And it's really not that kind of energy all the time. Second, Venus doesn't like competition. And when you're talking about, this could be competition within friends, competition with any sort of entrepreneurial effort, creative effort that you're trying to launch, anything that you feel might be getting in the way of you moving into your future. Venus doesn't like it. Right? We can easily feel very rivalrous or even envious towards people who might be better off than we are, or have figured something out before we have, right? And this could be any area of Venus, right? Having to do with money. It could have to do with looks. It could have to do with love. It could have to do with family, anything like that. And as a result, we can end up using seduction or deceit or any other strategy to secure something that our eye is aimed at bringing to ourselves, right? At possessing. So when Venus is running in her shadow self, she can make a hot mess of people's lives. So just to understand, if you're starting to feel these vibes, if you're starting to notice them in other people, if you're noticing them in other people, step away. Just chill out and wait. Just wait. Because it's on the 16th, Venus is going to be popping into Libra in your 12th house. Not going to be hanging out with Virgo anymore or Mars, right? So just like step it back a couple of weeks there. And finally, Venus can also serve to be very tempering for imbalance, but this could be to a certain extent painful, because it's in this mode where she thinks a certain amount of suffering, of strife, of challenge is needed in order to bring us into a better harmony of balance. If we swung too far in a direction that's not for our ultimate good. And that's why we could see here, especially in this third example, why she's such a great partner for Mars, right? Because if she's going like a little too crazy in the other direction, what do I always say about Mars? Mars is the tower. And Mars always wants to be like, hey, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be on that path. That is not meant for you. Come on, you got to come this way. Cut it out. Come on, let's go this way. And that's the energy that's going to be going on here, right? And all of this can easily be happening in that 11th house while it's squaring your money sector, while it's also squaring that 8th house of where you merge with other. It has to do with where you show up as a we in relationship, intimacy, shared finances, anything. Again, the idea of merging and cycle. So it has to do with shared finances, inheritances, taxes, loans, assets, property, joint ventures, joint venture or joint goal, right? It could also have to do with your partner's resources. So all of those Venusian energies, there could be gifts coming in, but if there's a challenge, if you're starting to feel like a shadow manifestation, I'm all about being forewarned to be forearmed. Why not, right? So we have the Page of Swords leading this next row, which is swords or air. It's truth. So some sort of useful information is coming in that's somebody's going to be helping you to further your ambition. So this could be a contract coming your way. Maybe you're meeting a lawyer who's going to be helping you out in a particular way. So this could be an offer to finance a project, anything like that. Finding out you got a job. This could also be meeting somebody new online, somebody communicating with you online. But, you know, with the sword, you want to make sure that you're staying in that airspace, right? Don't allow yourself to get too swept up in the emotions of the moment. So this new information is coming in, but as the new information comes in, there is this departure from something that you emotionally felt was not working for you, right? It's like time to move on from something that hasn't been working, whether it's a mindset, whether it's a relationship, a job, a situation, whatever it is. You maybe even left the situation already, right? You recognize something that you're involved in isn't serving you, and it's time to just kind of work on yourself. But you're in the space of protecting yourself, right? We have this the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is Mars and Leo. So this is about kind of drawing a line in the sand. You can think about it like that. Like, I'm willing to do this, but not that. And you standing strong and defending yourself. You dealing with obstacles, but the obstacles are being sort of up against your morality and your personal philosophy, and that is really, really important to you. And that's right where Cancer is hanging out, and this is right where you're having this crisis of faith. So you can be feeling very sort of challenged and disillusioned right now in a process of negotiating things generally in your life, right? And some of you may be feeling that when it comes to, there's some sort of healing that's going on for a lot of you in your 6th house, which has to do with your mental, physical, and emotional health. It has to do with your day-to-day work, where you work, the work that you do, who you work with, who you work for, your sense of usefulness, your ability to be of service, your ability to problem solve, right? Chiron's retrograde in Aries in there until December 28th. So you have now until December 28th where there's a lot of healing and there's a lot of change that's going on, but it's squaring this 9th house of negotiating, marketing, advertising, you know, creating a contract, creating an opportunity where you feel like, disillusioned and just sort of disappointed. So some of you might be really trying very actively right now to push something out there, maybe to get that job, to finalize that contract, to finalize that a legal situation, that inheritance, whatever, that property situation, whatever it is. So don't be surprised if there's a little bit like pullback, right? At this point, there could be a little bit of pullback in that area. But we do have the Page of Cups clarifying you defending yourself, which is really nice because this is good news coming in about anything from love, money, family. This could indicate a potential partner being like right on the horizon there. Again, you just want to make sure, stay in the Page of Swords energy. You don't want to get swept up in anything too soon. So, you know, some of you are going to be getting like a job offer, a thumbs up to a contract, meeting somebody new, whatever it is. But it's like you're leaving something that hasn't been healthy. So maybe you've been unemployed. That's not healthy, right? Especially if you want to work. Or maybe you're leaving either a stagnant or an unhealthy relationship, or you're making the decision, even though you haven't been with that person, to finally say, you know what, it's not working. It's time for me to move on in a new direction. So I kind of like this going on, especially with Uranus in your 7th house. Uranus is about shocking surprises, and 7th house is relationships and marriage, contracts, business partners. So something shocking can come up in this energy, and this is sextiling that Cancer energy. So very interesting. Like, I feel like for a lot of you, things going well for you. If you're, I know you don't want to hear about, well, maybe you do, maybe that's why but if you're getting a divorce, there's some sort of like shocking news having to do with money, because Taurus rules money, in having to do with either a marriage, a contract, a business partnership, some sort of shocking surprise coming in after a lot of disillusionment. What's interesting though, I'm feeling almost like, I'm not feeling a lot of strength for you right now this week, Scorpio. Not that you guys aren't strong, because heaven knows you are, but it's like with Cancer in the 9th, it's just feeling like misunderstood and disappointed in the way things are. It doesn't mean you're not pushing forward. It doesn't mean, it's just recognition that maybe something didn't go the way you really wanted it to go. And now you're really trying to figure stuff out. You have Libra sitting in your 12th house. You're really trying to balance out, bring some sort of win-win situation to yourself in a very healthy way. Libra's a very balanced energy. And that is on the same line, because then Chiron is across the wheel. So there's healing, a lot of healing going on internally for you right now. But part of that healing is recognizing that you're disappointed, and you might be in a space where it's like, the thing's never going to work out. Just make sure you don't stay in that space too long, because that's not good. You want to, look at this. We get the Chariot. Moving away from any sort of toxic anything. Right? There's change here. There's a necessary surrender. That's why here in numerology, the Chariot is the Tower energy, right? And the Tower energy is Mars. And it's like, all right, what you've been doing is not good for you. That relationship, that business situation, that family situation, whatever, it's not good for you. You have to surrender that. And once you say, okay, I'm willing to make the change, even if it's abrupt, even if you saw the red flags, you could see the red flags coming, it still feels abrupt energetically. There's swift progress and change, and a lot of determination to move away from something that's toxic towards what I always call your metaphorical home space, right? Because Chariot is Cancer. And Cancer is about home. So it's about literal home or your metaphorical home, like what feels right. And whatever feels right is away from the toxicity. So something is expedited here. And what I do like, though, for like career or money kind of thing, there are quick changes in progress in some sort of money situation, being able to push it forward or at least bring something to fruition that maybe you've been working on. But whatever it is, it's going to be exciting, and it's going to bring a lot of positive gains to your finances. But you're going to have to work harder than you've been. Which I'm sure if you've been out of work, you don't care about that, right? You're like, give it to me, I'll work. But there is this recognition that you need to move away from anything that's toxic in your life. You need to move away from it, right? And, look, you guys are Scorpio, ruled by Pluto, whatever your energy is. I don't know what house your sun is falling in, or if you're watching this as a Scorpio rising, then it would be in your first house. But whatever house your energy falls in, it's not meant to stay stable and the same. And when I say stable, I don't mean to say unstable. I mean lots of micro or macro endings and beginnings are meant to happen in all of our lives. We all have Scorpio somewhere. So there's got to be this change. And it's when we feel too dug in to not allow the change, where we could get in our own way. But it does seem like you're really trying to strategize a new approach to something, stepping back for perspective. Some of you are going to be maybe going to therapy. Others of you are really looking at yourselves very clearly, doing some shadow work. But you need to figure out a better strategy for moving forward regarding whatever situation is going on here. Whatever it is, the family situation, that relationship, your finances, your career, whatever it is. But then we have clarifying that you're realizing you need something new. So maybe you need a new job. I mean, this is a very good card. This is auspicious for every area of your life. This is about happiness and contentment and getting what you want. Money coming to you, or at least you're shown how to achieve what it is that you want. You're shown how to achieve, how to make the money. So it might mean, though, because you are in your first house, obviously, right? And that Scorpio energy in that first house right now, there's a lot of change going on having to do with your identity and your approach to life. And there just is. And, and I just feel like, with the North Node in that 8th house, there's something new that's coming in. Allow the change. Definitely allow the change. And then we have the Hierophant energy. So the Hierophant is about conforming to something, right? The Hierophant is, yes, it's a marriage card, but really in numerology, this is about tempering. This is the Temperance energy, which is about cooperation, moderation, and needing to reconcile the reality of a situation. And second you reconcile that, if it has to do with a relationship, there's a new level of trust after a difficult time period. If it has to do with something going on with money or work, You might be dealing with challenging people, like people at work, or aggressive or sensitive, whatever it is, but you need to be very patient. There's this idea of cooperating, right? Going back to the Hierophant energy, yeah, I mean, this has to do with marriage, committed partnership. If you're resonating with this as relationship, if it has to do with career or money, this is a focus on progressing forward in your work with new decisions, a new direction. You know, really nice. Some of you might be possibly expanding your property or inviting people over that you share very similar belief system with, right? It could definitely be that kind of energy as well, having to do with, because it's connected with the Temperance, which is a Sagittarius energy belief system. But the Hierophant is also about expectations and the need to conform to something, and emotional development, and paying attention to where have you in the past shot yourself in the foot with particular situations. It's really important that we're very honest with ourselves, because we'll do that from time to time. So it's very important for this new, if you have to recognize that in order for this new thing that's coming in to be successful. This new relationship, this new job, this new, whatever it is, whatever's coming in, is really this need to look at, you know, what have you in the past maybe hyper-focused on? Where have you maybe ruminated too long on, or been too giving or not giving enough? Where have you been passive aggressive in ways that didn't serve you, right? I mean, it's really about looking at all of that stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some sort of disappointment having to do with money, I feel like, right? I mean, we have the Moon, there's some sort of crisis of faith having to do, 10 of Coins has to do with, it's a money energy, but it's family, being very disappointed in family, being very disappointed in some sort of the ability to deepen a commitment, disappointed in how resources are shared, something to do with property, something to, like you being disappointed about something. Something's coming in, but you're not really very happy with what it is. And with the High Priestess energy, you're feeling very emotional about it. I mean, you have kind of like two Moon energies here, because the High Priestess is a Moon energy as well, which indicates secrets and not being very forthcoming. So you feeling or thinking something within yourself that you're not sharing with anybody. For some of you, this can indicate a secret love affair. For others of you, it's you just keeping under your hat how you're honestly feeling about a situation, because you're really not sure if it's how you really feel. That's always the tricky aspect of the Moon, because the Moon changes every 1.5 to 2.5 days. It's our emotions. Our emotions change, right? They're not based in facts usually. Our emotions are based on our emotional responses to what happened in reality. But they don't always align. Do you know what I mean? So that's why the recommendation with the High Priestess is, unless the High Priestess is in reverse, and we're like, okay, spill the secret. But in the upright, it's like, okay, don't say anything until you're really sure the reality of the situation and how much it aligns with your energy. We have clarifying that we have the Three of Coins. So the Three of Coins is a collaborative sort of successful energy here. So, ooh, Scorpio, I feel like you're sort of like cooking something in your mind about something creative. And you're like, shh, don't tell anybody. This is a very nice energy. This is the Three of Coins is like letting your talent shine and you being successful at it. For others of you, this could be like you not wanting to tell anybody that you want to sell your home, or you want to sell your home or buy a home, or you want to launch something, and you don't want to tell anybody. It's almost like you don't want to jinx it, right? Well, I like that. And then we have the 6, Sun and Scorpio. So this is an energy of nostalgia, harmony, the past. So some of you, now I'm just going to say it, some of you may be really very seriously thinking about reconnecting with somebody from your past, if you're resonating with this as relationship, because this is an energy of reconciliation. For others of you, it's the energy of reconciling, right? And reconnecting, though, with people from the past, old friends, old relationships, old family members, whatever it is. But it's finding the right balance in whatever relationship or whatever situation it is. If you feel like up to this point, you've either suffered some sort of mistreatment, something's been unfair to you, things being remedied. So I do like that. Let's pull a couple of oracles. Selling out forgive and forget. That's so much easier said than done. Not for you. Okay, so selling out obviously means going down a path that you know intuitively is not right for you. It's not right. You know that. You saying yes to something that's really not feeling comfortable for you. And I do want to say that when Venus goes into Libra, which is going to be in your 12th house, you're not going to be able to not see where you've agreed in your life to doing something, either in a relationship, in a job, in a family situation that you don't really resonate with. You're not going to be able to not see how unsettled it makes you feel the second half of August. So there does need to be some sort of, my advice here is if you're vibing that already, it's only going to become bigger and louder. So, you know, have the conversation and recognize that something wasn't meant to pan out the way that you thought it was. Whatever it is that you're feeling disappointed about, forgive and forget is really kind of hard. You can't really forget. But forgiveness to ease your own soul, to just say, and not to forget like it never happened, just put it where it needs to be so that you can move forward in your life, so that you're not shackled to an energy that was disappointing to you. Because whatever happened, it's the past. And the only way that you could move forward healthily without any blocks is to say, toothpaste is out of the tube. It happened. That's it. It's done. I have to realize that job, that project, that situation, that lawsuit, that family, that relationship, whatever it is, it didn't work out the way I really thought. And some of you are going to be in the space where it's like, oh yeah, no, it could work out if I sell myself out, which I'm not willing to do. So, you know, or some of you may be in a space of saying, wow, I have to realize how I have sold myself out in order to make something work. And it's time that I say, you know what, that's not for me. Let me forgive, let me move on. And let that be the end of it. And that's it. You know what I mean? So it does seem like there's sort of this shift that's happening this first week, but there can be a lot of tension the first week. For sure. You know, no, just understand like where the moon is going to be hanging, because that's your emotion. So on the 1st and 2nd, it's going to be in Taurus, and during this time, Taurus is hanging out in your 7th house, right? So that has to do with relationships, marriage, contracts. So it's going to be a very emotional energy in there, as Uranus is in there with the moon. So it's going to be very emotional in your 7th house. Then on the 3rd and 4th of the month, it's going to be in Gemini, which is where the North Node is, having to do with merging, sex, intimacy, shared finances, inheritance, all of that stuff. And then it's going to move, the moon's going to be moving into Cancer, which is, you know, it's home really, right? I mean, it rules Cancer on the 5th and the 6th. So Cancer is sitting in that 9th house, right, of negotiating everything that I was talking about, your moral code, your moral compass, what matters to you. So you're going to be feeling very emotional in that energy. And then moving into Leo, which is in your 10th house of career, on the 7th. So the Mercury, Sun, and the Moon in your career and long-term goals. There's this very realistic look at what is it that you see yourself doing moving forward, having to do with your career, your long-term goals. Getting very serious about that conversation with yourself. All right, my friends, that is what I have for you. I hope this was helpful in some way. Thank you so much for joining me. Have an awesome week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.